Hello, my name is Ankur and this is Ankur Chips where I just chip in on different things. This video is going to be about my stay in Osaka for 3 days where on each of those days I went for a day trip to different places. Stay tuned to find out what all I covered. So on the first day I visited Universal Studios Japan or USJ or Uniba, which was probably one of the most fun things that I did in Japan. Obviously, the level of this amusement park was leagues above anything I've seen in India. Not only was it huge, but the rides were so smooth and so immersive. One of my favorite things was to see all the Japanese people waving at every passing roller coaster and the people on the rides waving back. That was so cute to see. I went on a few rides. The first one was called the Hollywood Dream. Even though it was a very typical roller coaster, it's one of the reasons I would definitely visit USJ again. The reason is that there are two versions of this ride. In the second version, the ride travels in reverse, so you can't see where you're going. Since this was my first time and the wait for these rides was also very long, I opted for the forward version, but I'm definitely going to go for the backflip version whenever I visit next. Would you try it? Let me know in the comments. The next ride was my favorite. It was called the Flying Dinosaur. It is officially the scariest ride I have ever been on. Mostly because instead of typical seats, this ride has you dangling under the carriage. It was really crazy. There was also a really long parade called the No Limits Parade that went around the entire park, which was quite fun to look at. And the song that they were playing was so catchy, I couldn't find it on Spotify, or I would be starting my morning with that song every day. I also checked out a musical with a haunted theme, which was kind of fun. Then I proceeded to the Harry Potter world, which they have there. That was really insane. The level of immersion they have achieved there is really cool. They also have a really fun ride which had like the longest line. I think I waited around 2 hours in that line, but the ride itself was fantastic. It was a good blend of practical effects and screens, and I was really impressed with how well the two were mixing together. It was almost seamless. The last ride I went for was a horror themed one again called Sadako's Curse, which was again a blend of practical effects and screens. But also, there were some sections where the ride would just move in complete darkness, and that was really thrilling. I had a lot of fun in Universal, but I felt like I need to go there once again. Because there was so much wait time for every ride, I did not actually get to go on all of the rides. I must go back there and try the other rides that I missed. On my second day in Osaka, I took a trip to Kyoto. Usually people go to Kyoto for the traditional vibes, but I went there with the sole objective of checking out the Evangelion Kyoto base. They have a huge life-sized bust of Unit 01 there, which is so cool. And you can even go to the entry capsule and stand on the Evangelion's hand. Being a big Evangelion fan, this was such a cool experience for me. Afterwards, since I hadn't planned for anything else, I decided to go do some touristy things. So I visited the Fushimi Inari Shrine, where they had so many torii gates, one after the other. It was really beautiful. I hiked all the way to the top and came back, and it was a really good exercise. On my third day, I went to two different cities, and these cities were like on the opposite sides of Osaka. In the morning, I visited Nara, which is famous for its deer. They have deer just roaming around on the streets, and these deer have even learned to bow to people to receive treats. It's quite fascinating actually when you think about it. In the evening, I went to Kobe, which is famous for its beef called Kobe beef or Wagyu beef, which is said to be the most expensive beef in the world. Although I'm not a foodie, I really wanted to try this beef since I had heard so much about it, and it was definitely really tasty. I went to a restaurant where they served beef steak that I had to cook on a small pan. I don't have much experience in cooking, so I found the whole process really fascinating. And that was it. That was the end of my adventures in and around Osaka. The next day, I would travel back to Tokyo for what would be my last full day in Japan, but a fun filled day nonetheless. Check out my next video to find out what all I got up to over there. Until next time, this is Ankur checking out.